I'm very quickly going to go through some formalities, then inshallah we'll get straight into the program. First of all, the fire exits are located at the front here to your left, and the doors that you came through, and some more at the back. The toilets are located through this door that you came in, turn right, and there's 3 toilets there, sisters, brothers, and for disabled. Inshallah, you will have noticed that there was a bookstall as you came through. That will be open during most of the talk. Definitely on the way out it will be open. There will also be some refreshments, so please have a look at the bookstall on your way out. You will have also noticed that on each chair there were 4 pieces of paper. One of them was a Huddersfield Dawah leaflet, just introducing you to the shop, where it's located and the kind of literature that we sell. Secondly, there was a piece of paper with some dates on. These are Islamic talks that are taking place in Huddersfield every other week or every 3 weeks. The dates are on there. Please attend them whenever you can. There is also a questionnaire. We would appreciate it if you could fill that in and hand it in on the way out at the bookstall. If you don't get a chance to fill it in today, then please drop it off at the Huddersfield Dawah bookshop. The address is on the Huddersfield Dawah leaflet, which is also on the chairs. Finally, there's a blank piece of paper. Now that's for questions at the end of the speech. There are some Huddersfield Dawah volunteers around the building. They've got plenty of pens, so if you need pens, just raise your hand and one of the volunteers inshallah will give you a pen, write down your questions, hand it back to the volunteers, and they will bring the questions to the front. Alternatively, if you wish to stand up and ask the question, that's fine. The talk inshallah will be an hour to an hour and a quarter, so roughly at 4:15, around that time, the talk should end, and then we will have half an hour, 45 minutes for questions. Without further ado now, I'll introduce you to our guest speaker today, Brother Sheikh Faisal, born in Jamaica in the year 1963. He embraced Islam at the age of 16 in Jamaica, alhamdulillah. He then studied Islam and Arabic for a year in South America, then went on for further studies at the Imam Muhammad University in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. He graduated in 1992 after 8 years of study. He now does dawah work in the United Kingdom. So, can I ask Sheikh Faisal to take over from here?
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد. Believing brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. On behalf of Huddersfield Dawah, I would like to take this opportunity of thanking you for inviting me here today, the 13th of April 1997, to speak to you on the crucial topic, diseases of the heart. This is my, I think, 3rd trip to Huddersfield, and I pray Allah that this will not be my 3rd and last trip, but we will have many more gatherings like this one. And I appreciate the turnout of the brothers and sisters. It's good to see such a wonderful turnout. So the brothers of the area has done a marvelous job in letting you know about this gathering. the topic diseases of the heart, its importance cannot be overemphasized. All the calamities, the catastrophes, the disasters which you witness on your television screen every day are a result of the diseases of the heart. The heart is the most important part of our bodies. On commenting on the heart, our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, ألا وإن في الجسد مضغة إذا صلحت صلح الجسد كله وإذا فسدت فسد الجسد كله ألا وهي القلب. Verily in your bosom there is a lump of flesh. If this lump of flesh is pure, your whole body is pure. But if that lump of flesh is corrupted, all of you is corrupted. Verily, that lump of flesh is the heart. Allah Ta'ala has instructed His Prophet to say also in this hadith collected by Muslim, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَنْظُرُ إِلَى صُوَرِكُمْ وَأَعْمَالِكُمْ وَلَكِنْ يَنْظُرُ إِلَى أَعْمَالِكُمْ وَقُلُوبِكُمْ. Indeed, Allah doesn't pay attention to your physical appearances. Neither does He pay attention to your wealth. But instead, Allah Ta'ala pays attention to your righteous deeds and your heart, your actions and your heart. We all have diseases in our hearts. These diseases, Allah Ta'ala said, they are a burden, wisdom. The heart of our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was not like our heart. So Allah Ta'ala said about the heart of the Prophet, أَلَمْ نَشْرَحْ لَكَ صَدْرَكَ وَوَضَعْنَا أَنْكَ وِزْرَكَ الَّذِي أَنْقَضَ ظَهْرَكَ وَرَفَعْنَا لَكَ ذِكْرَكَ. Didn't we cause thy bosom to dilate? And we remove from you your burden, your wisdom, your burden which was on your back. And we cause your name, O Muhammad, to become a household name. At the age of 10, Angel Jibreel came to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, split his chest open, took his heart out, and washed it with the water of Zamzam, and removed from the heart of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam all the diseases that are to be found in our hearts. So the heart of the Prophet was not like our hearts. And the Rasul said, مَا مِنْكُمْ إِلَّا وَقَدْ وُكِّلَ بِهِ قَرِينُهُ مِنَ الْجِنِّ وَقَرِينُهُ مِنَ الْمَلَائِكَةِ. There is no human being on earth except that Allah has assigned unto him his qareen, his companion from the jinns and the companion from the angel. So the companion from the jinn is tempting you to do haram things on a daily basis. They said, وَإِيَّاكَ يَا رَسُولَ اللَّهِ. Even you, O Messenger of Allah, you have a shaitan beside you at all times. The Prophet said, peace be upon him, وَإِيَّايَ. Even me, except that Allah has helped me against him. So he has embraced Islam. Therefore, he doesn't command me to do anything except that which is good. Our shaitan didn't embrace Islam. This is why sometimes we think and say and do haram. The very first disease of the heart is called Shirk. To ascribe partners unto Allah, to set up rivals unto Allah, to worship false deities. There are shirk is of two stages, the major shirk and the minor shirk. Minor shirk is to do good with the intention of showing off. Major shirk is to worship false deities. The differences between major shirk and minor shirk are four. Major shirk makes you a kafir, but as for minor shirk, it makes you a fasiq, an unbeliever, a Muslim lacking in iman. Major shirk nullifies all your pious deeds. So think of a woman like Mother Teresa, who goes around the world claiming that she's doing pious deeds. On Judgment Day, Mother Teresa has no reward to receive. And Allah Ta'ala spoke about people like this in Surah Nur, verse 39. That he will come, the person who claimed that he did pious deeds and he was a kafir, he will come expecting to find pious deeds, but he won't find it. So Allah said his similitude is like the man who is about to die from thirst and he is in the middle of the desert. And when he looked in front of him, he saw water. So he ran to quench his thirst, but when he got there, it wasn't really water, it was only a mirage. This is Surah Nur, verse 39. So the kafir will come on Judgment Day expecting to find pious deeds, but he will have no pious deeds to receive because he committed major shirk. The other difference is that major shirk, as I said before, nullifies all your pious deeds. The minor shirk, it nullifies the deed that accompanies it. So if a person gives away 10 pounds, 20 pounds to show off, that act is nullified, sadaqah. But major shirk nullifies all your deeds. Major shirk cannot be forgiven. So if you die committing major shirk, you won't be forgiven. You'll be in the hellfire forever. The other difference, major shirk calls the person to abide in the hellfire forever and ever, but as for minor shirk, he will be taken out with the intercession of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Prophet's uncle Abu Talib died a mushrik, a major mushrik, pagan. And he used to love the Prophet ﷺ and he used to support Islam and Muslims. So the Prophet had an uncle called Abbas who was a Muslim. So one day Abbas went to the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and said, "Oh Muhammad, oh Messenger of Allah, did you help your uncle with anything, Abu Talib? He died a mushrik, but when he was alive, he used to support you. He used to help you, and he used to get angry for you. Did you help him with anything?" The Prophet said, "Yes. I asked Allah to give him the lightest punishment in hell. Therefore, he will be given shoes made from fire to wear, so hot it will cause his brain to boil." This was the only help the Prophet could have given to his uncle Abu Talib, who died a mushrik. Shirk has many shades, many forms and types. The first type of shirk is called the shirk of love. To love someone or something the way you should be loving Allah. So think of a person who is looking at a football match, a World Cup match, the final match. Anyone who wins this match will win the World Cup, and he will hold his cup high for the world to see. And this match is between Germany and Brazil. And you don't want any goal to miss you. You want to witness everything. So you are in front of the box, the TV, watching, and Maghrib comes, but you're still watching. And the match is 90 minutes. And Maghrib, you cannot delay Maghrib like you delay Asr. Maghrib is very limited the time. You are in front of your TV watching this football match, and Maghrib came and went, and still you are watching your football match. Or maybe home and away, EastEnders neighbors. It doesn't have to be a football match. Maghrib came and went, and you are still watching your football match. You have become a mushrik. You love your TV more than Allah. Another example, a man has a business, a Muslim man, and for him to close his shop and go to pray Salatul Jum'ah, he thinks Friday is a payday, it's a busy day. So he's there making his money. until he missed one Jumu'ah, 3 Jumu'ah. And if you miss 3 Jumu'ah in a row, you have committed a crime in Islam. Until he misses 10 Jumu'ah, 20, 50, 100 Salatul Jumu'ah. Because for him to go to the masjid and pray, he can see the barakah immediately. But for him to open his shop and sell, he can see the pound sterling coming in, or the dollars. This man is a mushrik. He loves the pound sterling more than Allah. This shirk is called the shirk of love. There's another shirk called the shirk of worship, and that is the worship of false deities. The way Hindus worship Ram, Sita, Hanuman, and the Christians worship the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And the atheist, he worships his evil and corrupted desires. This is the God of the atheist. His evil and corrupted desires. The third shirk, the shirk of fear, to fear someone instead of Allah. You are not supposed to fear people, you should fear Allah and Allah alone. So if you see haram, you should speak out. Because the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, let none of you disgrace himself. They said, O Messenger of Allah, how can we disgrace ourselves? The Prophet said, you see haram taking place and you keep quiet. On Judgment Day, Allah will ask you, why didn't you speak out? You will say, oh Allah, I was afraid of the people. Allah will say, I am the one you are supposed to be afraid of. And that person will be dragged on his face and thrown into the hellfire. He committed the shirk of fear. And the greatest jihad is to speak the truth in front of a tyrannical ruler. The fourth type of shirk is the shirk of obedience. And that is whenever you obey the creation instead of obeying the Creator. There is no obedience to the creation while you are disobeying the Creator. There is no obedience to the created things while you are disobeying the Creator of things. And the Prophet saw a Christian man wearing a big cross around his neck, and he was coming towards the Prophet. His name was Adi ibn Hatim at-Ta'i. And the Prophet read the ayah which is found in Surah Tawbah verse 31. اتَّخَذُوا أَحْبَارَهُمْ وَرُهْبَانَهُمْ أَرْبَابًا مِنْ دُونِ اللَّهِ. They have taken their priests and rabbis as lords instead of Allah. So this Christian man, he was reacting. So he said to the Prophet, we don't worship them. We don't worship our priests and rabbis. The Prophet said to him, don't they make haram halal and halal haram and you follow them? The man said, yes. The Prophet said, تِلْكَ عِبَادَتُهُمْ إِيَّاهُمْ. This is how you worship them. So he thinks worship is only to make sajda for idols. There are many types of worship. So for you to obey the creation and disobey the Creator, meaning you have become guilty of worshiping the creation instead of the Creator. The fifth type of shirk, the shirk of tawaf, to make tawaf around graves. Your tawaf is salah. Why do you think when you go to Mecca to perform Umrah or Hajj, you can't go around the Kaaba until you make wudu? Why? Because your tawaf is salah. So since your tawaf is salah, how can you make tawaf around graves and offer that salah to the inhabitants of the grave? This is shirk. The sixth type of shirk is shirk of dua, to make dua, supplication, to the creation instead of the Creator. So those who go to graves and make dua to those who are inside the graves and beg them for things, they have committed shirk. And your dua is ibadah. The Prophet said in a hadith collected by At-Tirmidhi, ad-dua huwa al-ibadah. Your dua is an act of ibadah. So since your dua is ibadah, an act of worship, you can't offer your dua to anyone except Allah. Because Allah said in the Quran, قُلْ إِنَّ صَلَاتِي وَنُسُكِي وَمَحْيَايَ وَمَمَاتِي لِلَّهِ رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ لَا شَرِيكَ لَهُ وَبِذَلِكَ أُمِرْتُ وَأَنَا أَوَّلُ الْمُسْلِمِينَ. Say my salah, my nusuk, my acts of worship, my entire life and my death is for Allah and Allah alone. He has absolutely no partners. This is what I was commanded to do, and I'm the first to profess my faith in Al-Islam. So how can you offer your acts of worship to others other than Allah?
The seventh type of shirk is called the shirk of at-tawakkul, to put your trust in others other than Allah. The eighth, the shirk of believing in horoscopes, palm readers, tarot cards, omens. When I was in the Arab world, they have their omens, you know. If a man should have a business, and his first customer was a one-eyed man, so, my goodness, my first customer is a one-eyed man, I'll never make any money today. Terrible day. In the Caribbean, they have their omens as well. A man is driving down the road and a mongoose run across the road and didn't turn back. Wonderful day. But if the mongoose would run across the road and then turn back, my goodness, a terrible day. It's better for me to go back home. I may have a car crash down the road. All these are omens. You are not allowed to believe in omens. Number 13. I can't live in room number 13. Number 13 is the devil's number. How can you believe in Qadr and still believe in omens? Everything has been predestined, so what is to be must be. And the natural phenomena of the universe doesn't have any power over what Allah has written to happen. So omen, the Prophet said, at-tayara min shirk. Omen is shirk. So you're not allowed to believe in horoscopes. So the Kafirs, they put on their TV and in their newspaper horoscopes. And people buy the newspaper just to read their horoscopes. Sagittarius. If you're born Sagittarius, you will have a wonderful future. You will have a job soon. Aquarius, you will have an unexpected visitor. So many rubbish they talk about in their horoscopes. And some people, they will never miss the same way you cannot miss your Fajr or your Maghrib or your Isha, these Kafirs, they cannot miss their horoscopes. It's like a part of their life is missing. The kahin, the soothsayer, the fortune teller, you're not allowed to visit them and listen to them. Because the Rasul said, Man ata kahinan fasaddaka faqad kafara ma unzila ala Muhammad. Anyone who goes to the kahin, the soothsayer, the fortune teller, and believe in him, has rejected faith in what was revealed unto Muhammad. The ninth shirk is called the shirk of describing Allah with human qualities. So in Genesis 32, verse 22 of the Bible, it says that Prophet Jacob wrestled with Allah. And Allah said, let me go, let me go. And Jacob said, I will never let you go until you bless me. In other words, I'm giving you a deal. If you bless me, you give me barakah, I will let you go. If you don't give me barakah, I won't let you go. No. This is in the Bible, Genesis chapter 32, verse 22. Then he said, what's your name? He said, my name is Jacob. He said, from now on your new name is Israel, because you fought with man and you defeated him, and you fought with God and you defeated him. This is the Bible. In the same Bible, in the book of Genesis, again, Genesis chapter 6, verse 6, they said when Allah saw how wicked man was, he repented that he made man. Allah made Tawbah. And he was hurt in his heart. In John 3, verse 16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. So Jesus is a begotten son of Allah. Allah begat the son. All this is shirk upon top of shirk. Shirk on top of shirk. Describing Allah with human qualities. So it is shirk to describe Allah with human qualities, and the 10th type is to describe a human being with godly qualities. So for you to say, my Imam is so intelligent, he knows when he's going to die and he chooses when to die. Whose aqidah is this? Shia. My Imam is so intelligent, he knows when he's going to die, he chooses when to die, and he doesn't die unless it is his will. Which ayah in the Quran this aqidah contradicts? Which ayah in the Quran this aqidah contradicts? Surah Luqman, verse 34. Allah said there are 5 things, only He, Allah, knows these 5 things. The exact weather condition. This is why when Michael Fish said on the TV, tomorrow will be a wonderful day. He didn't predict rain or hurricane, not even a wind. A wonderful day, a fair day. And when the people went to bed, and then they woke up the next morning and opened their door, all the trees in London were flat. Hurricane passed through. He couldn't predict it. So the exact weather condition, no one knows the exact weather condition except Allah. No one knows the nature of what's in the mother's womb, whether your wife who is pregnant, the baby inside her will be rich or poor, happy or unhappy, Muslim or Kafir, homosexual or straight, miserable or peaceful. What's in the womb, no one knows. No one knows how much money he will earn tomorrow. The fourth, no one knows when is Judgment Day. And the fifth, no one knows when he's going to die. So how can you give a man godly qualities? It is shirk. The 11th type of shirk, the shirk of believing that Allah appeared on earth in the form of human beings. Whose aqidah is this? To believe that Allah came down on earth in the form of human beings. Whose aqidah is this? Christians, who else? Hindus, who else? You're leaving somebody out. Nation of Islam, thank you very much. Louis Farrakhan. His name is Farrakhan. Have you seen his name before? Louis Farrakhan, have you heard of that person?
Yes.
Show hands those who heard of Louis Farrakhan. Do you know how to spell his name?
Farah.
This is his name. Farrakhan. You get the spelling? Can you see clearly? So I'm sorry for those who follow him. Whenever he speaks, he said, in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, who appeared in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. So Allah came down on earth in the form of a man. We will use an ayah in the Quran to nullify this dodgy aqidah. In Surah Shura, Allah said, verse 51, وَمَا كَانَ لِبَشَرٍ أَن يُكَلِّمَهُ اللَّهُ إِلَّا وَحْيًا. It's not for Allah to speak to man unless it is by wahi, revelation. Or min wara hijab, or he speaks to him from behind a veil, where he spoke to Musa and the Prophet Muhammad from behind a veil. Or yursil rasulan fayuha bi'idnihi ma yasha, or Allah sends an angel to relate to man whatsoever he wants. But as for Allah coming down on earth in the form of human beings, this never happened and it will never happen. And the Christians who said Jesus was God in flesh, listen carefully, they said Jesus was God in flesh, because the Bible said in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God, and the Word became flesh and dwelt among men. So Jesus was God in flesh when he was on earth. Let's take a look at the Bible. In the book of Matthew, Matthew 19 verse 17, a man went to Jesus and said, "Oh good master, what can I do to have eternal life?" Jesus said, "Why call me good? No one is good except God who is in heaven." So if he was God, why did he say to the man, "Why call me good? No one is good except God"? Also, he went to a fig tree to pick fig. Jesus went to a fig tree to pick fig and eat. When he got there was no fig on the tree, so he cursed the tree and turned back. If he was God, he would have known that there was no fig on the tree before he even got there. The 12th type of shirk is called the shirk of riyah, the shirk of showing off. So some people, whenever they seek knowledge to show off. Some people, they use Islam to become famous, and I'm sure you have seen it on Channel 4 the other day. The Tottenham Ayatollah. But the hadith says anyone who uses the deen to show off, Allah Ta'ala will disgrace him. This hadith is in Bukhari. Some people, whenever they go to the battlefield, the camera has to be on them, whether it is in Chechnya or in Bosnia or in Kashmir. They move the movie camera, the camera has to be on them on the battlefield, then they take the film back and say, "Look, I am a frontline person." On Judgment Day, 3 people will be brought to Allah: the scholar, the one who spent his money, and the third is the one who died on the battlefield. Allah will ask the scholar, why did you seek knowledge? He said, to spread Islam. Allah will say, you lie. The one who spent his wealth, why did you spend so much money? To spread Islam. Allah will say to him, you lie. The one who died on the battlefield, why did you fight so many jihad? He will say, to spread Islam. Allah will say to him, you lie, you are lying. You, the scholar, you seek knowledge to be called a scholar. You, the one who spent your wealth, you spent your wealth to be called kind-hearted. And you, the one who went to the battlefield and fought so many jihad, you fought because you want to be called the lion heart, the brave man. All 3 will be dragged on their faces and thrown into the hellfire. But they did good deeds. They did good deeds, but their intention was wrong. They did good with the intention of showing off. They did not practice ikhlas and niyyah. Ikhlas and niyyah, the purification of the intention, to purify your soul, to purify your heart. Sufyan al-Thawri said the hardest thing for me to do was to purify my intention. The 13th and last shirk is called the shirk of governance. Shirk al-Hakimiyyah. The shirk of dumping the Quran behind your back. You, the Prime Minister, the President, the King, you dump the Holy Quran behind your back, and then you govern the people with your evil and corrupted desires. This shirk, whenever the government preachers write books on shirk and tawheed, they do not tell you about this shirk. The shirk of governance, shirk al-Hakimiyyah. The shirk of dismantling the Sharia. Wicked scholars will never tell you about this shirk, because for them to tell you about this shirk, they will be exposing their kafir paid masters. The second disease of the heart, and to prove to you that Allah is the only lawgiver, Surah the Cave, verse 26, Allah said, وَلَا يُشْرِكْ فِي حُكْمِهِ أَحَدًا. And He, Allah, He doesn't allow anyone to share with Him in His legislation and His rule. The second disease of the heart is called kufr, disbelief, taken from the root word kafara, to cover up. So the kafir is the person who heard Islam, discovered it's the truth, and rejects faith because of pride and haughtiness. So you will say, what about the Indians in the Amazon who never heard the word Muhammad? Much less to hear Allah, much less to hear Al-Islam, much less to hear the word Al-Quran. These Indians in Brazil, in the deep jungle in the Amazon, can you say they are kafirs? And on Judgment Day, where will they end up? This question hundreds of Muslims ask. And what about the children of the Hindus? Can you say they're kafirs? The answer for your questions are, the Indians in the Amazon who never heard about Islam, or any other person who never heard about Islam, you have to judge him as a non-Muslim. You can't marry your daughter to him. Will you? You can't. Nor can you allow him to enter Mecca and Medina, the 2 holy cities. And on Judgment Day, Allah will ask them certain questions. And based upon the answers they provide to these questions, Allah will give them paradise or the hellfire. This is the answer. We leave it to Allah. On Judgment Day, Allah will decide between paradise or the hellfire based upon the answers they provide Allah when Allah asks them certain questions. And as for the children of the Hindus and the Buddhists and the atheists and the Christians and the Jews, all these people are kafirs, Christians, Jews, atheists, Buddhists, Hindus, agnostics. Their children who died before reaching puberty, they will be in paradise. Because the Prophet said, كل مولود يولد على الفطرة فأبواه يهودانه أو ينصرانه أو يمجسانه. Every child was born a Muslim. It was his parents that made him a Jew, a Christian, or a pagan, a fire worshipper. Also, when the Prophet went to the seven heavens, Al-Isra wal-Miraj, he passed by Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, and he didn't know it was Ibrahim. So he said, Jibreel, Ya Jibreel, who is that man? Jibreel said, that is Ibrahim, your brother Ibrahim. And loads of children, many children were around him. So the Prophet said to Jibreel, and who are these children around him? The Prophet said, these are the children of the Kafirs who died before they reached puberty. This is the Aqidah of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah in regards to the children of the Kafirs. They will be in paradise. But as for the Khawarij, they are Kafirs. The children are Kafirs. The Hindu is a Kafir, and his child who born and die after 1 day old is a Kafir, hellfire. This is whose Aqidah? The Khawarij, and this Aqidah is wrong. The most famous Kafir to walk earth is the Fir'aun of Egypt. He was the most famous Kafir. What did Allah say about the Fir'aun of Egypt in the Holy Quran? Before I tell you what Allah said about the Fir'aun of Egypt in the Holy Quran, in Surah Naml verse 14, I would like to bring to your awareness that some Muslims say the leader who dismantles the Sharia and dumps the sincere, bona fide scholars in prison, you cannot say that leader is a kafir because maybe in his heart he admits that Islam is the truth. I'm sure you have heard this aqidah floating around. So if a man admits in his heart that Islam is the truth, automatically that man is a Muslim. If the Pope of Rome or the Bishop of Canterbury believes that Allah is one, and Muhammad is his messenger, the last prophet and messenger. In his heart he believes that. But he doesn't say it with his tongue. Is he a Muslim? What do you think? Are you going to answer? What do you think?
No, I don't think so. No.
Kafir. He's a kafir. Allah, I will now tell you what Allah said. You have answered correctly. I will now tell you what Allah said about the Fir'aun. In Surah Naml, the end, verse 14, Allah, in speaking about the Fir'aun, Allah said, وَجَّهَدُوا بِهَا وَاسْتَيْقَنَتْهَا أَنفُسُهُمْ ظُلْمًا وَعُلْوًا. The Fir'aun and his soldiers, in their hearts, they were convinced that Musa brought the truth. But outwardly, they rejected faith because of pride and haughtiness. So for you to be convinced in your heart that Islam is the truth, that is not sufficient to make you a believer. Because Ibn Abbas, the cousin of the Prophet Ibn Abbas, said Iman is of 3 dimensions. Conviction of the heart, declaration with the tongue, and implementation with your limbs. So Iman, faith, is heart, tongue, and limbs. If Iman was heart alone, the Fir'aun would have been your brother in Islam. If Iman was heart alone, Abu Talib wouldn't have died a mushrik because he said, "Oh Muhammad, I'm afraid that the women of Quraysh would laugh at me. If it wasn't for that, I would take the Shahada and repeat after you." He was convinced in his heart that Muhammad was a prophet. So the conviction of the heart is not sufficient because your faith is conviction of the heart, declaration with the tongue, and implementations with the limbs. And when you read the Quran, Allah said what? إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. Allah did not say إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا full stop. Allah said إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. وَالْعَصْرِ إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. So all of us, we are finished, we are destroyed, except for those who believe and follow up their belief with righteous deeds. This is Iman. The third disease of the heart is called hasad, envy. Envy is of three types. To see your Muslim brother enjoying Allah's barakah, His bounties, His blessings, and you want the blessing to be transferred from him to you. That's one type of envy. The second type of envy is you see your Muslim brother enjoying Allah's barakah, His blessings, His bounties, and you want the blessing to disappear. So you don't want the blessing to be transferred from him to you. In other words, he shouldn't have it and I don't want it. It should evaporate and disappear. And this second branch of envy is worse than the first branch. The third type of envy, to see your Muslim brother enjoying Allah's blessings and you hate it so much, you want to kill him. And this is the worst type of envy under the heaven, where your envy leads you to becoming a murderer. The shaitan is filled with envy. But anyone who believes in qadr cannot be an envier. Qadr, which is destiny, means Allah wrote down what is to be. So if your Muslim brother should drive the latest car, a peerage tomorrow morning, you, the believer, when you see that, you say, it is qadr. But the kafir who doesn't believe in destiny, qadr, his heart is filled with envy. So a true Muslim who has the quality of envy, a true Muslim will never have the quality of envy, but instead it is hypocrites who have the quality of envy. People who don't believe in qadr. As I said before, the shaitan is filled with envy. So when Allah blessed Adam with the 5 special blessings, what are these 5 special blessings? He created him with his own 2 hands. Therefore, Allah has 2 hands, but it doesn't resemble our hands. I hope you don't have a problem with that, because this concept caused bloodshed in the Muslim world. Allah has 2 hands, but it doesn't look like your hands. Is that clear? In Surah Sad, Allah said to Iblis, why didn't you bow down to what I created with my own 2 hands? Why didn't you bow down to what I created with my own 2 hands? So Allah has 2 hands, but it doesn't look like your hands. I hope you don't have a problem with that ayah. Allah created Adam with his own 2 hands. He blew in him of his soul. This is another problem. He blew in Adam of his soul, meaning the soul which was blown into Adam was created by Allah. Not that Allah dwelt inside of us, because some people believe that Allah dwelt inside of us, and Allah does not dwell inside of His creation. So if you are asked where is Allah and you say Allah is in heaven, that answer is wrong, because Allah does not dwell inside of His creation. Allah is on His throne above the 7 heavens. He taught him the names of everything. So He gave him knowledge. He gave Adam knowledge. Knowledge which the angels didn't have. And the angels used to say, we are the most learned of Allah's creation. So Allah Ta'ala said, Ambi'uni bi asma'ihim in kuntum sadiqin. Tell me the names of these things if you are truthful. So when Iblis saw Adam on the ground created, and soul was not yet blown into him, do you know what Iblis said? When Allah created Adam and put Adam on the ground, and He didn't blow in him soul as yet, Iblis came and he looked, and he wondered, and he looked, and he think, what is this thing? And he suspected that man who Allah has created will become great in life. So Iblis, Ibn Kathir told us in his book Al-Bidayah wa Nihaya, in the first volume, what Iblis said. Iblis said to Adam when Adam was on the ground, if I have less power than you and you have more power than me, I will never obey you. I will be rebellious to you. And if I have more power than you, I shall destroy you. These were the words of Iblis to Adam alayhi salam. So when Allah gave Adam knowledge, Iblis was fuming. He was angry. He was upset. Then Allah Ta'ala placed him in heaven to live. Was Adam in heaven or in paradise?
What's the difference?
Was Adam in heaven or in paradise? It was in heaven. There's a difference between paradise and heaven. If Adam was in paradise, he would be thrown out. Once you enter paradise, you will abide forever and ever. Allah said, "Khalidina fiha abada." There's a vast difference between paradise and heaven, and there's a vast difference between destiny and predestination. Destiny can be changed with your dua, predestination cannot be changed with anything. There's a vast difference between the kursi and the arsh. And there's a vast difference between a prophet and a messenger. We use these words interchangeably, but they are different. Your scholars of Aqidah will tell you that. So then the fifth and last blessing, Allah commanded the angels to bow down to Adam. Iblis couldn't handle this, and so he rebelled. He rebelled against Allah Ta'ala's commandments. Why did he rebel? Because of envy. He was filled with envy. Not only is Iblis envious, but the Ahlul Kitab, the Christians and the Jews, they are people of envy. So Allah Ta'ala said in the Holy Quran, وَدَّ كَثِيرٌ مِّنْ أَهْلِ الْكِتَابِ لَوْ يَرُدُّونَكُم مِّن بَعْدِ إِيمَانِكُمْ كُفَّارًا حَسَدًا مِّنْ عِندِ أَنفُسِهِمْ. A lot of Christians and Jews and Jews would like to see you turn back on your heels and become kafirs like them. Why? Because of envy from their own sinful souls. So here Allah is telling you that kafirs are envious, Christians and Jews especially. What are the things they envy us for? They envy you for the nur which is on your face, the light. So you, the believer, when you are 20, you look like 15. When you are 30, you look like 20. Because of the nur. But as for the kafir, when he is 20, he looks like 35 or 40. The man is in his 20s, and most of the hair on his head is white. So he envies you for the nur, and secondly, your self-contentment. So when the Prophet asked his companions, who is the rich man? They said the rich man is the man who has dinar and dirham, raw cash. The Prophet said, no. The rich man is the man who has self-contentment. That's the rich man. What's the point in you having all the money in the world and you cannot go to bed and have a good night's rest? No self-contentment. So that is the rich man. So the kafirs, they envy you for your self-contentment. They envy you for your family structure. That your wife doesn't cheat on you. But as for him, even though he is an MP, his wife makes front page in the Sun, the Mirror. She was with another man having the time of her life. She disgraced him. So this man has all the things that money can buy, but his family structure is in shambles. And when he becomes old, his children dump him in an old age home to rot. They don't look after him. Kafirs envy you for your tight family structure. Did you know what they envy you for most? Al-Islam. So when the Jew sees you, the Jew knows that that is the religion he should be following, but he can't follow that religion, Al-Islam, because he has too much pride. When the shaitan sees you praying, especially when you are in sajda, the shaitan wishes he was the one in sajda, but he can't make sajda because he has too much pride. Kafirs envy you for your religion, Al-Islam. Alhamdulillah, we make sajda, the rich and the poor can make sajda alike. Alhamdulillah, Islam is not a thing that money should buy. If salvation was a thing that money could buy, the rich would enter paradise and the poor would enter the hellfire. But alhamdulillah, Islam is for all. When Ahmad ibn Hanbal went to Yemen to learn hadith, he earned his living by carrying the luggage of people in the marketplace. And the scholars used to say, this religion, Al-Islam, is a property of poor people. But as for the other religions, Christianity, Judaism is the property of the rich. Imam Malik used to split firewood and sell to earn a living so that he can study his deen. The fourth disease of the heart is called jealousy. Jealousy. So you see your neighbor extending his house and you extend yours. You see your neighbor sells his E-Reg and buy a P-Reg, so you quickly sell your J-Reg and buy a P-Reg. What is it called? Keeping up with the Joneses. Allah spoke about it in the Holy Quran. Al-Hakum al-Takathur hatta zurtum al-Maqabir. Rivalry and piling up worldly encumbrances distract you from the deen. Until you visit the grave, you shall soon come to know. The only two things in life you are allowed to compete with are knowledge of the deen and wealth. You see a man who is rich spending his wealth fi sabilillah, and you wish to be like him, to spend like him. You see a man with Islamic knowledge imparting it with wisdom, and you wish to have knowledge to impart it like him. Everything else you are not allowed. You are not allowed to be jealous for. And the jealousy which is cursed here is the jealousy over dunya. But as for being jealous over your wife, it's compulsory on you to be jealous over your wife. It is compulsory on you. One of the rights of your wife over you is that you should be jealous over her. So the Prophet said, peace be upon him, 3 men on Judgment Day, their situation will be so pathetic, Allah will not look at them, much less to speak to them, much less to observe them. Who are these 3 men? An old man who commits zina. A poor man who is proud. He is poor, he can hardly find a night's dinner, but he walks like the earth is not good enough for him to walk on. Poor but proud. And the third and last, a man who is not jealous over his wife, a youth. These 3 men, Allah will not look at them, much less to speak to them, much less to observe them. The 5th disease of the heart is called nationalism. To think that you are better than a person because of your nationality. So many Muslims, they get caught up in this web of the shaitan, so they say British Muslims. British first, Muslim last. American Muslim, American first, Muslim last. When we were studying in Saudi Arabia, Ronald Reagan sent planes to bomb Libya. Now, why did he do that? In Italy, the Palestinians bombed a brothel and a prostitute died. And it is said that Jews were in there. And Gaddafi praised the act. Oh, they are heroes, they are heroes. So Ronald Reagan decided that it was Gaddafi who sent them to bomb the nightclub, so let me bomb him. He didn't ascertain if it was Gaddafi, but because he claimed he has power, let me kill any Muslim I want to kill. It is doubtful whether Gaddafi is a Muslim or not. In my opinion, he's a kafir because he dismantles the Sharia. Anyway, they went and they bombed Libya, and they killed approximately 35 innocent people, including the baby of Gaddafi, his adopted daughter, who was approximately 6 months old. To my surprise, the American students who were studying with us, they supported the bombing. They supported the bombing of America, the bombing by America of innocent Muslims in Libya, because according to them, we are American first and Muslims last. This is nationalism. When India and Pakistan was fighting, you had Muslims from India who fought and killed Muslims from Pakistan. Because according to him, he's an Indian, he's fighting to protect the borders of India. This is nationalism. We see the nationalism here in this country. So you have some masjid which is called the Bengali mosque, the Pakistani mosque, the Gujarati mosque, the Turkish mosque, and so you may have the Afro-Caribbean mosque as well. This is nationalism. What sort of mosque is this? You should have a mosque where everybody is welcome and everybody feel at home. So even here in the UK, you can see the nationalism, it's evident. A Muslim boy, and tribalism is a part of nationalism. A Muslim boy proposed to a Muslim girl, they are both from Pakistan, but the father said, how can you ask me for my daughter? I'm a Sayyid, or I'm a Raja, I'm a Rajput. You're not good enough for my daughter. That is tribalism. Or in Africa, look at Africa, look at Somalia. In Somalia, the Somalis in the north, they say we are better than the Somalis who are living in the south, because in the north, our blood is mixed with Arab blood. But in the south, your blood is 100% African blood. So for a Somali from the north to marry from a Somali from the south, that is frowned upon. That is frowned upon. So black people hating black people in the name of tribalism. Look at Rwanda, the Hutsi and the Tutsi are what you call them. They massacre a million of them in the name of tribalism. All these are diseases of the heart that have contaminated the hearts of people and caused them to become animals, beasts on the earth. Now we the Muslims, we have nationalism, and it's evident. Our caliphate was destroyed because of nationalism. The Turks had it, and the Arabs said, how can they have it? We are Arabs, we are better. So they took sides with the British, fought against the Turks, and destroyed the Islamic Caliphate in the name of nationalism. The Muslims lost Spain because of the same problem. So, when you look at the Muslims, we have nationalism. The Kafirs are dumping nationalism. They are getting rid of visas between themselves in Europe. They are pushing for a single European currency. The passport is now called European passport. So the Kafirs are dumping nationalism. They have a country and they call it the USA, the United States of America, in which all the states get together and Florida unites with New York, and New York unites with Detroit, and Detroit unites with South Carolina unites with North Carolina. It's one country. They are united. So Kafirs know that unity is strength. Then you have the UK. Well, the Welsh and the Scottish and the British, they are united and they don't kill each other. Like the Somalis who claim to be Muslims. Somalis, they are killing each other. The Kafirs here, they don't kill each other. The Welsh, the Scottish and the British, they are united and they call themselves the United Kingdom. So the Kafirs are dumping nationalism, and we are rushing to pick it up. So the kufr, which the Kafirs have dumped because they realize it's no good, You, the Muslim, you are rushing to pick it up when you are supposed to be ummatan wasatan, the ummah which is supposed to set an example for mankind to follow. So when will you believe in Allah's word? When Allah said, يَا أَيُّهَا النَّاسِ إِنَّا خَلَقْنَاكُم مِّن ذَكَرٍ وَأُنثَىٰ وَجَعَلْنَاكُمْ شُعُوبًا وَقَبَائِلَ لِتَعَارَفُوا إِنَّ أَكْرَمَكُمْ عِندَ اللَّهِ أَتْقَاكُمْ. O mankind, we have created you from a single male and female, and we made you into nations and tribes, not that you will despise each other, but for you to know each other. Verily, the most honorable of you in the sight of Allah is he who is most righteous. When will you start believing in this ayah, which is found in Surah Hujurat? When will you not just pause and recite it, but you will believe in it in your heart and practice it with your limbs, so that you can rid your bosom, your heart, of kufr and hypocrisy? The sixth disease of the heart is racism. Similar to nationalism, except that you say I'm better because of my skin color, my race. And black people nowadays, they are becoming proud. Oh, white people, they die from the sun. Skin cancer. I have melanin in my skin, so I'm better. You think you're better because you're black. The Pharaoh of Egypt was a black man. Are you saying that he was better? So we don't pay attention to skin color as Allah has instructed his prophet to say, Inna Allah la yanzur ila suwarikum wa la amwalakum. Allah doesn't look at your physical appearance nor your wealth, but he looks at your actions and the purity of your heart. So you're not better because of your skin color or the color of your hair or the color of your eyes, because Allah said the better of you in his sight, the best of you is he who is most righteous. So there is no room for racism in Islam, no room for nationalism, no room for tribalism, no room for classism, no room for sexism, no room for groupism. All these are chronic diseases of the heart, which this ayah in Surah Hujurat has demolished. There are two types of racists: a limited racist and a complete racist. A limited racist is a man who is a racist, but he is weak in the society. He is insignificant, unimportant. So he doesn't have the power to unleash his racism against you, because he's a riffraff in the society. His words are not listened to. Then you have another racist who may be a police on the street stopping people, or a judge in the courthouse, or the juror in the courthouse, or an MP who has the power to inflict, to unleash his racism against you. This is a complete racist. And every racist strives to carry out his racist theory, so they strive to put themselves in positions of power. Look at the Rodney King incident in California, in Los Angeles. 4 white police almost killed a black man, and the white jury set them free. It is impossible for a racist to be a fair judge. Totally impossible. The first racist, the first person to proclaim his racism was Iblis. So when Allah said in Surah Al-Ra'af verse 12, مَا مَنَعَكَ أَنْ لَا تَسْجُدْ إِذْ أَمَرْتُكَ. What is it that prevented you from bowing down when I commanded you? Iblis gave this famous answer, أَنَا خَيْرٌ مِّنْ خَلَقْتَنِي مِنْ نَارٍ وَخَلَقْتَهُ مِنْ طِينٍ. I am better than him. You created me, Iblis, from fire, but as for him, Adam, you created him from clay. Therefore, I am better. Brothers and sisters in Islam, this is the first person to proclaim racism. Allah said, Aba wastakbara wa kana minal kafirin. He refused to bow down. He was filled with pride and he became a kafir. Every racist is practicing the sunnah of the shaitan, walking in the footsteps of the shaitan, and every racist is a shaitan. We have said the first racist was the devil. Who is the worst racist? The Jews. The Jews. What did Allah say about the Jews in the Quran and Muhammad? يَعْرِفُونَهُ كَمَا finish the ayah. كَمَا يَعْرِفُونَ أَبْنَاءَهُم. Thank you very much. They, the Jews, they see Muhammad and they can recognize him the way a man is able to recognize his own son, because his description was in the Torah. So when they see him, they know he was the last prophet prophesied in the Torah. So since they recognize him, Allah said in Surah Baqarah, I give you the exact ayah, Baqarah 146. Since they recognize him the way a man can recognize his own son and knew he was a prophet, why did they reject faith in him? They rejected faith in him because he was an Arab. He wasn't a Jew. So they prefer to reject faith in Islam because Muhammad was an Arab, not a Jew. They prefer to reject faith and end up in the hellfire to abide forever and ever in the name of Jewish supremacy and racism. The seventh type of disease, heart disease, is called kibr, pride. The Prophet said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, لا يدخل الجنة من كان في قلبه مثقال ذرة من كبر. Anyone who has the smallest particle of pride in his heart will never enter the paradise. A man said some people like to wear beautiful clothes and beautiful shoes. The Prophet said Allah is beautiful and Allah loves beauty. Pride is when you reject the truth when you hear it and look down upon others thinking that you are better. So many kafirs die as kafirs after realizing Islam is the truth simply because of pride. Nothing caused the Fir'aun to die a kafir except pride. The Nimrod who argued with Ibrahim alayhi salam. Nothing caused Utbah, Shayba, Abu Lahab and Abu Jahl to die as kafirs except pride. Nothing caused Abu Talib to die a mushrik except pride. Pride and Iman cannot hold in the same heart. The eighth disease of the heart is called selfishness. To want things to happen your way at all times and you do not respect the feelings of others. And you only love yourself and you want the best for yourself. The ninth disease of the heart is called laziness. And laziness is from the shaitan. And the scholars of Islam said the cause of poverty is to go back to sleep after prayer. The 10th disease of the heart is called greed. So in this life, some people die from hunger and thirst, like in Ethiopia, Somalia, and many other places, while others die from overeating. We have the two extremes. So in this world, we have enough to satisfy everyone's need, but not enough to satisfy everyone's greed. Do you know what the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said about man and his greed? The Prophet said, if we should give man a mountain of gold as big as Mount Uhud, he would do what? He would wish for another one. If Allah should give man, if Allah should give man a mountain of gold as big as Mount Uhud, he would wish for a second mountain of gold, because nothing can satisfy the stomach of Bani Adam except the dust of his grave. This is man and his greed. The Sultan of Brunei, how many billion he has? 25. And King Fahad, 22. In their bank account. So So your bank account may be in the hundreds or the thousands. King Fahad, his bank account is not in the hundreds nor the thousands nor in the millions. His money is in billions. This is greed. How much can he eat in a day? He can eat off 22 billion. How much can he eat in a day? So why do you have to have your bank account so fat, so big, so hefty? This is a practical, everyday example of man's greed. The 11th disease of the heart is called lust. And lust comes in different types. Fornication, which is cohabitation before marriage. Adultery, homosexuality, and child abuse, to cohabit with children. Lesbianism, two women cohabiting. Rape, incest, and bestiality. These are the 8 types of unlawful pleasures of the flesh. And zina has its remnants. What are the remnants of zina? It kills your jealousy. So people who commit zina a lot, they do wife swapping. They call themselves swingers. Zina causes people to lose their sense of shame. This is why people who do zina, sometimes they portray themselves naked in dirty magazines and videos. Zina causes you to lose your sense of shame. Zina causes disease. And the Rasul said, anytime people allow perversion to become widespread, Allah will cause to descend upon them new diseases that were not found among their parents and foreparents. Zina caused poverty, and poverty caused zina. Zina caused crime. Because when there's a lot of zina in the country, a lot of street kids appear. Street children. These street children, they don't have mothers and fathers to look after them. So how will they earn a living? They have to nick the things of people, house breaking. So zina caused crime to become widespread in the society. And zina kills. Zina is a debt. Imam Shafi said zina is a debt which you owe. So anytime you commit zina with a man's wife, one day somebody shall commit zina with your wife. Anytime you commit zina with a man's daughter, one day somebody shall commit zina with your daughter. Anytime you commit zina with somebody's sister, one day somebody will commit zina with your sister. Zina is a debt which you owe. Whose words were these? The words of Imam Shafi, rahimahullah. As for child abuse, if a man should cohabit with a child, and the child is his relative, like his own daughter, his niece, the man has to be killed. If the child was not related to him and the child died in the act, the man has to be killed. If the child was not related to him and it can be ascertained that he did a homosexual act with the child, the man has to be killed. This is the Islamic verdict on child abuse. If the man was not related to the child and the act he did with the child was not a homosexual act, he should receive 100 lashes. And as for incest, if the father cohabits with the daughter and both of them were not married, the daughter reached puberty, 13, 14, 15. She was not married, and she willingly agreed, both the father and the daughter has to be killed. If the nephew cohabited with the aunt, they both reached puberty, none of them was married, and they willingly did the act, both of them has to be killed. If the brother cohabits with the sister, both reached puberty, none of them was married, and they both agreed with the act, both of them has to be killed. This is Islamic Sharia. I hope nobody has a problem with that. As for bestiality, a man cohabits with a beast, a woman cohabits with a beast, both the human being and the animal has to be killed, and no one has a right to drink the milk of that animal, nor eat the meat of that animal. Both the woman and the animal has to be killed, and no one can eat the meat of that animal. This is Islamic Sharia. The 12th disease of the heart is called hatred. To hate someone without a valid reason. In Islam, we love and hate for Allah. We love people if they are good Muslims, and we hate people if they are hypocrites or kafirs who are enemies of Islam. This is called al-wala wal-bara, to love and hate for the sake of Allah. The 13th disease of the heart is called doubts, and that is you wake up one morning and you doubt. I wonder if Muhammad was a prophet. I wonder if the Quran is the book of Allah. I wonder if there is a God. I wonder if there's a heaven. I wonder if there's a hell. If you have these doubts, you are a kafir, because you have allowed your iman to become contaminated with doubts. And Allah said in Hujurat 15, إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا بِاللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ ثُمَّ لَمْ يَرْتَابُوا. Verily, the true believers are those who believe in Allah and His Messenger, and then they harbor absolutely no doubts. The 14th disease of the heart is called conceitedness, ghurur, and that is for you to fancy yourself. You are crazy about yourself. You are in love with yourself. So if you are in a shura meeting, your opinion has to be accepted. And if your opinion is not accepted, you resign from the shura and you went and formed your own masjid, your own jama'ah, because you are crazy about yourself. Conceitedness, ghurur. So Luqman the wise said to his son, وَلَا تَصَعِّرْ خَدَّكَ لِلنَّاسِ. Don't turn your nose up at people with pride. وَلَا تَمْشِ فِي الْأَرْضِ مَرَحًا. And do not walk on the face of the earth with conceitedness. إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُحِبُّ كُلَّ مُخْتَالٍ فَخُورٍ. Because Allah does not love each proud, haughty, and boastful person. Surah Luqman, verse 18. The 15th disease of the heart is called nifaq, hypocrisy. To pretend to be a Muslim when you're a kafir. So human beings are of three types. Either you're a Muslim, a kafir, or a kafir who is pretending to be a Muslim. Therefore, the person is a hypocrite. Hypocrites, the Rasul said, they have 4 qualities. Anyone who has these 4 qualities is a full-blown hypocrite. You know, some people, they have the AIDS virus, but they haven't full-blown AIDS as yet. It's just the virus. They haven't got the full-blown AIDS. Some people, they have traces of hypocrisy, but they are not full-blown hypocrites. These 4 qualities, which I'm about to tell you, anyone who has it, inshallah, they have become full-blown hypocrites. Whenever he speaks, he lies. Whenever he makes promises to you, he breaks it. Whenever you entrust him with anything, he breaks the trust. So if you give him £100 to give somebody, he takes it and says, Wallah, you didn't give me anything. And the 4th and last, anytime he argues with you, he abuses you. So if you have a different opinion from him, he calls you a monkey, a donkey, a nincompoop, a fool, a baboon, a chimpanzee, an idiot, a stooge. His tongue is very dirty. A hypocrite has a dirty tongue. And Allah said they have 2 faces and 2 tongues. So in Surah Baqarah verse 14, Allah said when they are with you, they say they believe. But when they are alone with their evil ones, they say we don't really believe, we were only just. Then the Prophet said hypocrites, Salatul Fajr and Isha is a burden on them, and they hate the holy month of Ramadan. So a hypocrite living in a Muslim country, when Ramadan comes, he quickly looks for exit visa and leaves. I'm a traveler, I don't have to fast. They hate Ramadan, they hate to spend fi sabilillah, and they hate jihad. These are hypocrites. Hypocrites will never have 2 qualities, knowledge of Islam and a beautiful character. The 16th disease of the heart is called impatience. So Allah said in Surah Isra verse 11, وَكَانَ الْإِنسَانِ عَجُولًا. Man by nature is impatient. So when you tell him, don't run after women, don't run after the wine of the dunya. There is woman in paradise and there is wine in paradise. Wine in paradise? Yes, there is wine in paradise. In Surah Muhammad, Allah said, فِيهَا أَنْهَارٌ مِنْ مَاءٍ. In paradise we have rivers from water. وأنهار من لبن لم يتغير طعمه. Rivers from milk, the taste doesn't change, it doesn't go off, it doesn't get sour. وأنهار من خمر لذة للشاربين. And we have rivers of wine, a delight for those who drink. So there is wine in paradise, but it cannot get you drunk. I'm quoting to you from Surah Muhammad. So you tell him, don't drink the wine of the dunya, there is wine in paradise. You can't say that to him. He wants to have a good time now. Man, whenever he wants something, he wants it now. You can't tell him to wait, be patient. He wants it now. So patience is a bitter cup that only the strong can drink from, and only the patient will inherit the paradise. Only the patient can inherit the paradise. The 17th and last disease of the heart is called wahn. Wahn. The Prophet said in the last days, people will gather together to kill you the way they gather around a table to partake of its meal. The Sahaba said, will we be so few in number, O Messenger of Allah? The Prophet said, no, on that day you will be a lot in number, but you will be ghutha, the foam that comes on top of the water when there is a flood. That white foam. Useless. Allah will take respect and fear from the kafir's heart for you. And you will have in your heart wahn. Wahn. When they said, O Messenger of Allah, what is wahn? The Prophet said, love for the dunya and fear for death. Love for the dunya and fear for death. We have wahn. Kashmir is in the hands of the cow worshippers and we haven't been able to retrieve it. Masjid al-Aqsa is in the hands of the Jews and we haven't been able to retrieve it. Only 3 million Jews. Why? Because we have wahn, which is love for the dunya and fear for death. These are the 17 diseases of the heart. I have told you the disease of the heart. I will now tell you how to rid your heart of these diseases. You need to pray a lot. Keep up your 5 daily prayers, and if you are busy at work, you join the Dhuhr with Asr. You pray 4 rak'ah each and make 2 iqamah. And you pray Maghrib and Isha when you come home, but do not miss your prayers. Keep up your 5 daily prayers. Salah is the greatest form of dhikr. Do not miss Salatul Jum'ah. Pray your Jum'ah. Even sisters should go for Jum'ah, even though it's not compulsory on women to pray Jum'ah. If you miss 3 Jum'ah in a row, you have committed a crime in Islam. Join a constant study circle. At least once a week, a group of brothers should get together and read from books Sahih Bukhari, Sahih Muslim, Riyadh al-Salihin. Read something. You don't have to be a Shaykh, a Maulana. Read. And if you don't understand, you ring up and ask the meaning of the hadith. Get together as Muslim brothers, even if it is 5, 10, 15, 20 of you, once a week, every week, and read something. Read from the book of Maududi, the meaning of the Holy Quran. In my opinion, it's 95% accurate. Have a constant study circle. And it's even better if you have somebody who understands the Arabic language to give you the tafsir directly from Ibn Kathir, the classical scholar Ibn Kathir. Have in your house a library of Islamic books, Islamic audio tapes, Islamic video tapes. Have a library in your home. And be a student of Islam. Because the Prophet said everything in this dunya is cursed except for 3 things. Dhikr Allah, the remembrance of Allah. A scholar of Islam and a student of that scholar. Everything else, apart from these 3 things, are cursed in this wretched dunya. The last advice, keep company with pious, practicing Muslims. Nifaq, hypocrisy, and kufr is contagious just like AIDS. So if you are in the company of hypocrites, sooner or later you shall become a hypocrite, because the Prophet said what? A man belongs to the religion of his friend. So be careful who you choose for your friend. Always be in the company of pious people. People who like to sit down and talk about money, gold, houses, women, fast cars. Stay away from them. Stay away from such people. Be in the company of people who are concerned about Allah, His Messenger, Al-Islam, and the affairs of the believers. Brothers and sisters in Islam, these are the 17 chronic diseases of the heart which the Ummah is suffering from, causing us to be in a pathetic state. I pray Allah that we'll have the Iman to rid our hearts of these chronic diseases, so that we'll be successful both in this life and in the hereafter, the way the Sahabas were successful in this life and in the hereafter. I've said what I've said, and I seek forgiveness for myself and for you. Thank you very much for listening.
Jazakallah khair, brother Sheikh Faisal, for a very interesting educational lecture. May Allah reward you immensely for your efforts. Brothers and sisters, we've come to the time now where we can ask questions. As I said before, you may stand up and ask questions. They may be relevant to the topic or any general questions. If you wish to write them down, there are Huddersfield Dawah volunteers on either side of the aisles who are wearing badges similar to this one. And also for the sisters, there are volunteers in that section there. If you haven't got time to stay for the questions, on your way out, please visit the bookstall. There is a good selection of books and refreshments there. And there are also audio cassettes that Sheikh Faisal has brought along with him of some of the lectures that he has done. Please pay a visit on your way out. Okay, the floor is yours. Please take opportunity of this time. The first question: what if you are forced to reject your faith by a tyrant ruler?
If you are forced to reject your faith, brothers and sisters, by a tyrannical ruler, it's compulsory on you to make hijrah. Because in the Holy Quran, Allah spoke about people who were oppressed in the land. الذين يتوفاهم الملائكة قالوا فيما كنتم ظالمي أنفسهم قالوا فيما كنتم قالوا كنا مستضعفين في الأرض قالوا ألم تكن أرض الله واسعة فتهاجروا فيها. Those who were oppressed in the land and they did wrong things, Allah will ask them, why were you in that pathetic state? They will say, oh Allah, we were oppressed in the land. This is why we became kafirs, we were oppressed in the land. Allah will say to them, wasn't Allah's earth spacious enough for you to make hijrah? And such people will be thrown into the hellfire. Except those people who could not make hijrah because they did not have access to transportation to make hijrah. So Allah's earth is spacious enough to make hijrah. So if you are forced to reject faith, you have to make hijrah.
Two questions on this piece of paper. First one, which tafsir of the Quran do you use? Second question, can you pray 2 rakat before nafil?
You can pray to rakat before nafil, there is no doubt about that. The tafsir, my favorite tafsir, brothers and sisters, is tafsir Ibn Kathir. This is my favorite tafsir, and most of my tapes is tafsir Ibn Kathir. However, I sometimes read tafsir Tabari and the tafsir of Al-Qurtubi. Tabari, Qurtubi, and Ibn Kathir. But my favorite tafsir is that of Ibn Kathir. And this is so because he was a student of Ibn Taymiyyah, and he was of Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah. He was not of the Ash'ari.
Some lengthy questions now. So this is a question relating to marriage. How much of a prospective wife are you allowed to view, i.e., Can you ask her to remove her scarf so that you can see her hair, or are you allowed to see her without her hijab in normal clothes? How long are you allowed to talk to her, and how many times are you allowed to see because you make the final decision?
You know, the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said that before you marry a woman, you should look at her. And the Prophet did not say how you should look at her. So the scholars, they have three opinions. Some say you should look at her face and the palm of her hands. And some say you should look at her hair. And she should have a dress that goes to her knee, and you see from her knee down and her hair. And the other opinion is a bit outrageous. It's not correct, the other opinion. I won't bother to say the other opinion. I don't think you want to hear it anyway. The other opinion is crazy. They go further than what I've just said about the hair. When the scholars differ like this, it's always better that you stick to the middle path. So the correct opinion is that a man may ask the woman to remove her hair if he proposed to her and she accepts his proposal. Now this may create fitna, but it is the most accurate opinion that if a man sees the hair of a woman who he proposed to marry, he didn't do anything haram. And no scholar can tell you he did haram. Did I answer the question?
I have been told not to read Al-Bukhari by my Maulana. He said it will lead me astray. Please comment.
There are people who say you shouldn't read the Quran because you don't speak Arabic and you won't know the tafsir, so avoid reading the Quran. There are some people who say don't read Bukhari because you don't read Arabic, you don't know the explanation to the hadith. All these opinions are wrong. You are supposed to read the Quran, and you are supposed to read Bukhari, Muslim, Abu Dawud, and the other books that are in English, like the Muwatta of Imam Malik and Riyadh al-Salihin, because many of the hadiths in these books are self-explanatory. Many of the hadiths are self-explanatory. For example, the hadith, actions are by intention, and every man will have whatsoever he intended, meaning your intention should always be good, and you'll have good from your action. This hadith is self-explanatory. So to tell Muslims not to read Quran or hadith, this is a wrong advice. And with all due respect to the Maulana, I think it's better to encourage Muslims to read Quran and Sunnah rather than discouraging them.
Another lengthy question. What do you say about the Muslims who go around criticizing people for any small defect in their faith, i.e. they don't roll their trousers up high enough? But in their own country they do not speak out against the hundreds of scholars who are imprisoned in their country because the only thing they did was to try and implement Sharia.
In some Muslim countries today, for example, Saudi Arabia, great scholars like Safar Hawali, Salman al-Auda, they are in prison, and the only crime they committed was that they demanded the implementation of the Sharia. These people, their tapes are banned. You cannot have their tapes to buy. Cassettes. They are banned. You can't obtain them in Mecca, nor Medina, nor anywhere in the kingdom. But you can get the tapes of Whitney Houston, Madonna, Eddie Murphy, with all the F words on it inside of Holy Mecca. So there are people in this country today who call themselves Salafis, who condemn Muslims if they should have their trousers a little below the ankle. And they condemn Muslims if they don't move their fingers in Salah. They condemn Muslims if they don't put their hand on the chest, if they have it on the navel. They condemn them, and they condemn the Muslims for small things. But leaders who dump the Sharia and then dump the scholars in prison and oppress the scholars, they make 1,000 excuses for these leaders. Now, the answer to this question is that these people, they are murji with the leaders and they are khawarij with the ummah, meaning they are soft with the
soft with the leaders and harsh with the ummah, these people, they are hypocrites. These people, they are hypocrites and they do not deserve to be respected, and they have nullified their al-wala wal-bara and their sincerity. If you want to be sincere, you have to condemn all types of falsehood. You have to condemn all types of falsehood, and you should show mercy to your Muslim brothers who make small errors, and you should condemn the leaders who have dismantled the Sharia with the most strong words, because they are practicing shirk, the shirk of governance.
We have a question off the floor.
As a new Muslim, I was first went to Ford, I was here on my Jum'ah. I was encouraged to read a book called The Bahishti Zohar, which I gave to my wife because I was told that all good Muslim women get this book when they're married. But on reading it, my wife was very concerned because in it, you were mentioning bestiality and incest and things like that, cutting hair. In there, my wife was concerned because it says, if you're going to have sexual intercourse with a small child, don't make a habit of it. And if you're going to have sexual intercourse with a dead body or an animal, you break your fast when you need ghusl. So this is considered as one of the most widely read books, and I've tried to speak to the man who translated it, and I'm getting blank doors. Everywhere I go, scholars, different Maulanas, they all blank me off, say, shut up and you shouldn't worry anything with things like that. So what would you advise of a widely read book like that that says things against the Sharia, like it's okay to have sexual intercourse with a man from behind, all you do is you break your fast and you need to make a ghusl?
The book that you have been reading, apparently it was written by the enemies of Islam. If you want to read a proper fiqh book, you should read a book in English called Fiqh al-Sunnah. I think it is in 6 volumes at the moment. It's not 100% giving you all the knowledge, because they translated it and they translated what they want. But apparently it's the best fiqh book in the market right now. And the best Quran you can read is the Noble Quran, except for the few mistakes which they have in it. And the mistake in Noble Quran is that they said those who dismantle the Sharia, their kufr is a minor thing, it's a minor kufr. Surah Ma'idah verse 44. So Surah Ma'idah verse 44, they have tampered with the translation and said it's a minor kufr to dismantle the Sharia. And the other mistake in the Noble Quran is that they said that for a Muslim woman to cover her face is compulsory. It's compulsory on a Muslim woman to cover her face. We all know that for a Muslim woman to cover her face is sunnah, recommended, and it's not compulsory. So apart from these mistakes, the Noble Quran can be recommended as the best translation, and Fiqh al-Sunnah you should read for fiqh.
Question relating to usury. The problem of usury is a very big one facing the Muslims, yet I have not read one book or seen a video or audio cassette addressing the subject. There are so many Muslims who are involved in the usury system, a lot of them because they have no other alternative. What advice would you give to a Muslim who is trying to avoid the sin of usury, who has a house on mortgage and is trying to get rid of the mortgage? Why is this issue of riba not addressed by the so-called scholars?
The issue of riba has been addressed, but unfortunately it's only in the Arabic language that Said Qutb wrote a book condemning usury. It's my intention to impart this knowledge in English, so the sisters, they have to be, is it sisters or brothers? The person who wrote the question have to be patient. We have 84 topics so far, and we have many more topics to bring out, so we can't bring all the topics out in one day, so the brothers and sisters have to be patient. And usury is a vicious crime because it's like cohabiting with your mother inside the belly of the Kaaba. This is the equivalent of usury. And as for buying a house by hire purchase, what you call mortgage, if the person you buy the house from, the building society or the bank, they fix the price and the price doesn't go up and down, it remains constant, then it is halal to buy a house in that manner. However, if the price goes up and down according to interest rates, then it is haram for you to buy that house. I hope that's clear. There's a new bank now in this country which is called Waqf. They will buy a house for you from the person for £50,000. Then they sell it back to you to make a profit. So they will sell it for £60,000 and they leave the price at £60,000 and they give you for example, 10, 15 years to pay it back, and they do not increase the price on you. That is permissible in Islam. Hire purchase is permissible in Islam if the price remains the same.
We have another question from the floor.
From the study of Islamic history, after Khilafat Rashida, I cannot find a single sultan or king, even if they call themselves Khulafa, who did not prosecute or imprison Islamic scholars. Were they not Muslims?
After the Khulafa al-Rashidin, which is the last one was Ali ibn Abi Talib, we had caliphs who came and they were good. For example, Omar ibn Abdul Aziz, he was classified as the fifth rightly guided caliph because he was a just ruler. So we can say he was a good caliph and he didn't persecute the scholars. And there are other Umayyad caliphs who were good as well. For example, Sulaiman was a good caliph and Abdul Malik was also a good caliph. Then you had caliphs who persecuted scholars, and they persecuted the scholars because they were afraid that the scholars would overthrow them. You cannot pronounce a person a kafir until he dismantles the Sharia. The only time you can pronounce a leader a kafir is when he dismantles the Sharia, or he has in his law clear kufr. For example, if you go to some Muslim countries, you'll see riba banks. The Saudi American bank, the Saudi British bank. Riba is kufr, isn't that so? It's not Islam, it's clear kufr. So you cannot call a person a kafir until he dismantles the Sharia or he implements clear kufr. And the Prophet said you fight them whenever you see clear kufr. And there was a caliph called Ma'mun who believed that the Quran was created. Ahmad ibn Hanbal could have pronounced him a kafir for saying the Quran was created because that aqidah is wrong. And Abu Hanifa used to pronounce people kafir when they said the Quran was created. But why is it that Ahmad ibn Hanbal did not pronounce Ma'mun a kafir even though he said the Quran was created? Because Ma'mun implemented the Sharia to the letter. So because he implemented the Sharia to the letter, he did not pronounce him a kafir. So you pronounce a leader kafir only when he dismantles the Sharia or he introduced a clear kufr.
Do you have to obey the law of the land, i.e. the police?
There are certain laws of the land that it's better for you to obey. For example, the stoplights. It's not wise for you to break the stoplights because you endanger your life, the life of your passengers in the car, and the lives of the pedestrians and the lives of the other motorists who are driving. And as for the law of the MOT, the insurance and the road tax and the MOT, you should obey that law. But as for the law of the car insurance, the driver's license, you should obey that law as well. As for the law of the car insurance, insurance is haram according to Islamic law. Car insurance is haram because it's gambling and they take money from you, £400 or £500 a year, and said we will fix your car if you have an accident, and if you don't have an accident they hold on to your money. So this is called money for nothing. Car insurance is money for nothing. So if you want to insure your car so that you will be away from the trouble of the police, you should insure it, which is the least amount, which is called third party only. So whenever you are going to do something which is haram and you are forced to do it, you do the least amount. If you don't drive with insurance, they will throw you in prison and throw away the key. I think so. They lock you up if you don't have insurance. So you have to take the least amount, which is third party only. This is my question in regards to the law of the land. And the other laws of the land which coincides with Islam, like don't kill, don't steal, you should obey that law because it's also found in the Holy Quran.
What is the Islamic punishment concerning a person who has not committed the act of sexual intercourse but has kissed a girl, etc., held hands but refrained from having sex? Will such a person be punished like an adulterer? How evil is this act?
The best answer I can give you is from Islamic history, and that is Ali Ibn Abi Talib, when he was a caliph, he found a boy and a girl underneath the same blanket, and they were at puberty. He couldn't prove that they cohabited, so he could not give them 100 lashes, so he gave them 98 lashes.
What punishment will Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give to Muslims who sell alcohol, drugs, take alcohols, take drugs, sell pork and other haram things such as pornographic magazines? Will such people die as Muslims? Will they be forgiven, or have they doomed their souls forever?
The Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam cursed 10 people in connection to alcohol. The one who grows the grapes so that the alcohol can be produced by these grapes, and the one who transports the alcohol, the one who works at the factory where the alcohol is being made, the one who makes it, the one who is the guarding it so that people don't come and steal it, the one who makes it, the one who transports it, the one who the alcohol is being transported to, the one who signs the transaction when the alcohol was purchased, the one who buys it is also cursed, the one who signs the transaction, and the one who acts as a witness over the transaction. You became a witness over the transaction, and the person who is a waiter working in a pub and he's a waitress to serve the alcohol. All these 10 people are cursed in where alcohol is concerned. And for you to take drugs is haram, and anybody who drinks alcohol or takes drugs, for 40 days his or her salah will not be accepted. That person will have their salah rejected for 40 days and 40 nights because they drink alcohol or they take drugs, intoxicants. And anybody who dies, and when he died he was addicted to an intoxicant, that person dies the death of a mushrik, a pagan.
Is it compulsory for a woman to cover her hair?
It's compulsory on a Muslim woman to cover her hair, and this is one of the reasons why we have this screen there, because we are not sure all the sisters are covering their hair, and we don't want to create a fitna for the brothers. It's compulsory on a Muslim woman to cover her hair, and there is a punishment for it if she doesn't cover her hair. And the punishment is not just for the woman, but for her brother and her father. One woman will take 4 men with her to the hellfire. This woman did not wear hijab, she didn't cover her hair, and her brother saw her and didn't stop her. Her father saw her and didn't stop her. Her husband saw her and didn't stop her. Her grandfather saw her and didn't stop her. So all these 4 men will be taken to the hellfire with this woman who did not cover her hair. When the Prophet ﷺ went to Isra and Al-Miraj, he saw women who were hung by their hair. And when he asked Jibril, who are these women? Jibril said, these women, they did not wear their hijab. And any man who saw his wife not wearing a hijab, or his sister, or his mother, and didn't tell her to wear it, that man has no jealousy, and that person will never enter the paradise. Because those who are not jealous will not go to paradise.
People are supposed to have an instinct to survive, so why do people kill themselves? What happens to the soul?
Whenever a person commits suicide, it means that they have given up hope from the mercy of Allah Ta'ala. And the Rasul ﷺ said that if you commit suicide by drinking poison, you will be in the hellfire drinking poison continuously. And if you commit suicide by stabbing yourself with a piece of iron, you shall be in hellfire stabbing yourself continuously. And the person who kills himself becomes a kafir if he believes that the suicide is halal. But if he believes the suicide is haram, he is still inside the fold of al-Islam. People commit suicide when they give up hope from the rahmah of Allah Ta'ala. And the soul of the person who commits suicide will be in the hellfire to abide for some time. The person will be taken out if he died believing that what he did was haram. If he thinks suicide is halal, perfectly halal, there's nothing wrong with it, he will be made to abide in hellfire forever and ever, both him and his soul. Suicide bombing is halal in Islam. There is a hadith in which the Rasul ﷺ explains Surah Buruj, وَالسَّمَاءِ ذَاتِ الْبُرُوجِ الْيَوْمِ الْمَعْدُودِ وَالشَّهْدِ وَالْمَشْهُودِ قُتِلَ أَصْحَابُ الْأُخْدُودِ. Yes, story of Surah Buruj talks about the boy who killed himself to guide an entire township to al-Islam. The king tried to kill him on many occasions, and the king failed because he did not want the boy to spread Islam in the kingdom. So the boy said, you cannot kill me unless you do what I want you to do. You have to tie me up and call the people, and before you shoot me, you say, Bismillah, Rabb hadal ghulam, in the name of Allah, the Lord of this boy. The king did exactly that and killed the boy, and then everybody believed in Islam, and they were guided to the religion of Allah Ta'ala. So suicide bombing is halal in Islam if you don't have any other ways and means to get rid of the kafirs. And suicide bombing is not classified as suicide. The evidence can be found in the tafsir of Surah Buruj.
What is mutta?
Mutta is to marry a woman for a few number of days, and then the marriage certificate expires the way your MOT expires. Mutta is haram. The Prophet ﷺ, at the Battle of Khaybar, he pronounced the eating of donkey meat and mutta, temporary marriage, haram. So it's not allowed for you to marry a woman temporarily anymore. And the Shiites, they uphold that aspect of the Sharia. They said it wasn't abrogated, but the correct opinion is that it has been abrogated because at the Battle of Khaybar, the Prophet pronounced the eating of donkey meat and mutta haram.
Islamically, what is a husband's duty to his wife and to his family? What if the wife feels the husband is not really hers because of the rest of the family?
In Islam, wives have rights over each other, and the husband has rights over the wife, and the wife has rights over the husband. And inshallah ta'ala, I will separate this. As I was saying, in Islam, the wife has rights over the husband, and the husband has rights over the wife. The rights of the wife are as follows: food, clothing, shelter, and to take her to the doctor whenever she becomes sick. And you're not allowed to abuse her with your tongue, verbal abuse, or physically abusing her and then cohabit with her. This is haram. It's not allowed in Islam. You're not allowed to prevent her from visiting her family relatives, her parents, unless her parents are enemies of Islam. These are the rights of the wife over the husband, and another right is that you have to take your wife for off-time activities. It's not allowed to lock your wife up in the house 24 hours a day, every day, and you're going to take her out. You have to take your wife out for off-time activities, and the Prophet ﷺ used to take his wife out. Even on one occasion, he had a race with Aisha, and Aisha won the race. Then the Prophet had a race with her again when she became older, and the Prophet won the race, and then the Prophet said, "This victory of mine today cancels your victory that came before." So the Rasul ﷺ used to have off-time activities with his wives. He never locked them up in the house 24 hours a day, every day, the way Muslim brothers are doing today with their wives. And this is very oppressive for the women. And in the early parts of Islam, women were kept in the house when they commit Zina, on house arrest. So how can you use that punishment for them today and they did not do Zina? So you're not allowed to lock your wives in the house 24 hours a day, every day. You have to provide them with off-time activities. As for the rights of the husband, it is complete obedience. And no woman can obey her husband. No woman can obey Allah unless she obeys her husband. And she's not allowed to prefer anyone over her husband, not even her parents, because the Prophet said, if it were halal for a human being to bow down to another human being, I would have commanded the women to bow down to their husbands. Also, you have to, I'm discussing the rights of the wife, right? Her husband. You're not allowed, the women are not allowed to say no to her husband whenever he invites her to bed. If your husband invites you to go to bed with him, you have to say yes, because the hadith says, a woman who says no to her husband whenever he invites her, all the angels in heaven curse that woman, even the fishes in the sea and the birds in the air. So Muslim women are not allowed to say, I'm sorry, tonight I'm not in the mood. I know this is a very common problem in the Muslim community. You have to obey your husband. Also, you're not allowed to invite people to the home who your husband dislikes, and you're not allowed to rent out his belongings behind his back without his permission. These are the rights of each other. The rights of the wife over the husband, and the rights of the husband over the wife.
Alhamdulillah. I was just going to say. Alhamdulillah. I was just going to say that, Alhamdulillah, we've got plenty of questions here now, so let's go through some of these before we take any more. Can you benefit from the Quran by wearing it?
You cannot benefit from the Quran by wearing it. If you want to benefit from the Quran, you have to recite it. The Prophet ﷺ, before he traveled, he used to recite a passage from the Quran which says, Subhanallah sakhkhara lana hadha wa ma kunna lahu mukrinin wa inna ila rabbina lamunqalibun. This is the dua for traveling. The Prophet never wore the Quran. There is absolutely no hadith that says the Prophet wore the Quran. So it is bid'ah to wear the Quran and depend upon it for help. If you want to benefit from the Quran, you have to recite it, memorize it, recite it, and practice it.
Can men wear gold earrings?
It is haram for men to wear gold earrings, and that person is imitating the Kafirs, he is imitating women, and he is imitating the homosexuals. So it is haram for Muslim men to wear gold earrings, and it's haram for Muslim men to wear silver earrings as well. You're not allowed to wear silver earrings, because if you wear silver earrings, you are imitating the homosexuals as well as women. If you want to wear silver, it has to be on your hand as Muslim men. And you're not allowed to wear gold, whether it's in your ears or on your fingers. The only thing you can wear as a Muslim man is silver. You're not allowed to wear gold. Gold is for women.
3 questions on this one. How is TV and computer a bad influence? What sort of evil things will the Dajjal do and make us do? What signs of judgment have arrived which the Prophet ﷺ spoke of?
These questions are very lengthy. Most of the questions you're asking me, they are provided on certain audio cassettes. And if I should go through all these questions, we're going to be here until a very long time, and I haven't prayed Asrs yet. So, inshallah, we're going to stay to the last question. If you want, I can come back to Huddersfield another day and answer your other questions.
Can I ask you a question? Yeah, one thing you said was insurance, that the third party insurance is quite permissible, one other comprehensive one. But I can't really see any reason, the comprehensive one, the intention is not to make the profit, but to cover the losses. And so why the comprehensive is not permissible and the third party insurance is quite permissible? And what's the authority behind that?
Yeah, I already told you that insurance is haram because it's money for nothing. You give the person, you give the, maybe you think that I'm answering these questions from my own opinion. These questions of car insurance, we have asked for sheikhs in my university because Kuwait, next door to where I studied, they have insurance going on there, and they make it compulsory, and the citizens to drive with insurance is Kuwait, which is next door to Saudi Arabia. So we asked for sheikhs, is it right what they're doing? And the sheikh said it's haram for you to have car insurance. And he said if you are living in a country where they make it compulsory, you have to pay the least amount. So whenever something is haram and you are forced to do it, you have to do the least amount. So this is the fatwa which was given to me, and I have to clarify the matter. I'm not answering from my own opinion. These questions I've asked my sheikhs in the university, and this is how they answered it. The reason why you have to pay the least amount is because it's haram, and when you are compelled to do something which is haram, you have to pay the least amount.
But you have to compensate for other people for injuries in Islam, isn't it? If you do injure somebody, you have to compensate that fellow for his injuries. And that's why this insurance thing comes in. You can't pay so much money sometimes.
There are many people in this country who drive for 20 years and they never hit anybody down, they never had an accident, and they pay 20 years of insurance. So he gives away his money, it's like throwing money away, it's called money crime. That's why it's hard.
One final question.
Sorry, I'm not really convinced, you know. Can I ask a question?
Maybe afterwards, if you could see the Shirk.
I want to make sure about it, you know. I mean,
Yeah, after the meeting, then please have a word. One final question. I have trouble reading Salat regularly due to my lack of strength. What can I do to strengthen my faith and have conviction in my prayer?
People who miss their prayers because of weak iman. If you want to be regular in your prayers, help you keep company with people who pray 5 times a day every day.